Sorry guys if the quality of the video of today is not the best, but when we talk about balance patch, I prefer to push the video out the soonest possible because it's an update on the cards, so it's important to be updated instead of like editing and all the thing for improve the video. So now let's go to check the balance patch as up. Okay, so balance patch of May 16, so literally yesterday night and so on. The first card that was buffed is Renegor Mother. So from cost decreased from 3 to 2 and yield reduced from 4 to 3. So I mean you remove 1 of health, but is for sure a buff because putting this card out at 2 mana instead of 3, or even like a 3 you can already combo with like this 2 mana and another Olympian 1 mana is really good. So this card before was better though because you could have buffed non-Olympian, you still can buff only Olympian now, so you can't do like the Pyramid Warden interaction. That was really good, but it's for sure a good card now. It's not broken like before, but it's a card that will be run in Olympian Aggro Light. Kinda like it. It can snowball a lot, this card, so it will be a problem. But now, since it has 3 health, it can die from a lot of Blitzer like Imp or Blade of Sticks, like it can die, or Wolf Cut and so on. By the way, now, Village Vendor increased health from 2 to 3, so it's literally a linear buff, just 1 health more. And now this card is really good in my opinion, because you have a 2 mana, almost in line with stats, because 2-3 is in line with stats essentially. But it has a really snowball effect, a really good effect. And we will see that Olympian Aggro War got really a bunch of buff that I think it will make this deck really a thing. Really, I don't think it top meta and so on, but it will be for sure a deck consistent in meta, cheapy, and really prevalent in the meta. And yeah, now this card 2-3, in this way you play around a lot of Blitzer like Tavern Brawler, X-Woman, or all the spell from CDM like Ancient Text, Form of Power and so on. So it's really a good buff, linear buff. Then Bloodoath Binder, that it has the same stats but just changed. So instead of 1-2 it became 0-3. So it is better, it is a buff essentially, because on this card you can anyway stack strength thanks to his effect. But the problem was that it was just too squishy. I mean, literally died to everything. In this way, same as the other card, it play around X-Woman and so on. And you still can buff this card. So you just want to keep this card alive and then you can buff it a lot. So it is a buff. And this will buff both Aggro Light Olympian and Aggro War Olympian. So those decks, I think it will restart all the snowball meta that we had when Band of the Wolf came out. Then we have Blighted Scion. I think this card now lost a lot. This card was super good. It was super good, almost broken in my opinion. I mean, it was almost run in every aggro because it was really good. But now at 3-1, you just die to almost every ping, without almost, to every ping. So you die to Death God Power, Deception God Power, Mage God Power, Nature God Power. I mean, this card will be just killed by a God Power. So I think it wouldn't be any more good. I mean, you still have a creature that stick on the board, but the fact that now they can just ping the first card, it loses a lot. They don't waste the resources on it. So yeah. Then we have... Okay, now... Guys, the things are starting to getting spicy. I can see there's some nerf. Okay, by the way, before. Wolf Recruits, change from draw a creature. If it's Olympian, draw another Olympian, give 1/1 to each. Now instead give to each Olympian in your hands. Okay, so this is kind of big buff. Because before you just buffed, if you draw an Olympian, you draw another one, and you buff these 2 Olympian. Instead, now you buff all the Olympian you have in hand. So in a deck full of Olympian, where you have only Olympian, you buff literally all your hand. So for 3 mana, you draw 2 cards and buff your entire hand of 1. This card is getting broken in my opinion. I mean, you still lose a bit of tempo when you play aggro, but I think this deck will just become like a mid-range where you stack a lot of stats on your creature and you just start to slam like 6/6, 7/7 and so on. I think this card is really good, not gonna lie. Now, finally we had it. We waited so much for this moment and it happened. Finally they removed Godblitz from this card. This card was literally the carry of Control War in my opinion, with Slayer God Power. But now, thanks to remove the Godblitz, I mean, it's still a really good card. I think it still will be runned because versus aggro you still take 2 versus 1. So versus aggro almost changed nothing, like change a bit but not a lot. Instead you lose almost 8 damage versus control. I mean, probably you will be able to push anyway those 8 damage, but it will be harder, so it is for sure a good nerf. I think it was needed because this card was really broken. And it is a core, I mean, it was just so overtuned. Then we have Master of the Mill that gets is literally the same effect, but instead of 2 it gives 3 and both. I think this card has started to become a thing, I'm not gonna lie. It's literally at 5 mana. It is a 4/8 at 5 mana, 4/8. And you have even ally effect that can proc. So, I mean, as I said, the problem is that as we think the aggro in this game is really going fast. This is more a card I think for like mid-range, so the same for aggro war Olympian, that I said like more mid-range, more stack your stats and just having big things that are hard to kill. In a deck like that, this creature is broken. Literally, this creature can start. You can even play around away with this. Like imagine versus mage, you have a full board of little creature. You play this at 5 before his Shape Blast, and then you have 2 creature out of Shape Blast. Is really good. And if you don't kill this creature, it will just get turn after you buff everything of 3 health, like ally. So I think this card is really good. I already watched that card when it came out. I never tried it because I never tried like Olympian Aggro Light for real. But this card I think is really good on stat wise. Now we have Carnage Sweep. Finally, guys, finally they are starting to nerf Control War. Holy shit! By the way, deal damage to all creatures. Okay, before it was the Carnage we all knew. Essentially, the change is that they don't kill the creature. So when you Carnage Sweep, so naked Carnage Sweep always 2 damage away. But now if you have a relic, you don't destroy everything and you relic, but you keep your relic and you make the relic damage. So the interaction with Leviathan is obviously destroyed because you make less damage than a naked Carnage Sweep. And yeah, it's a big nerf in my opinion. It's a big nerf because it was an essential clear for at least one for Control War in Control Mirror. I think this card will be not run in Control War anymore. It will be run though in Relic War. Relic War, it is a buff for Relic War because you play big attack Relic, you don't even destroy Relic and you still away everything because your Relic has like 5 damage and so on. So you board wipe everything and you still get your Relic. So it's a buff for Relic War, but it is a nerf for Control War because, yeah, you can't make Leviathan and so on. That's really good though, in my opinion, was needed. Control War will be still a really good deck, in my opinion. It was not, like, those 2 nerfs were needed, in my opinion. They were even more. But still, it's a good deck thanks to his GP and a lot of good cards. Cutthroat, okay, this is literally, I got so mad at this. First of all, I'm super mad at this nerf because I literally made a video about the top 5 budget deck yesterday. And they literally killed my top 2 deck in literally after 1 day, but I guess we can't do a nice video. But no, joking apart, I am mad. I mean, it was literally not needed. I mean, before, let's read the nerf. Okay, so target your opponent, reveal the end, and you don't okay, so the change is that you don't steal anymore the card, but you pull at the bottom of their deck and you draw a card. So on card advantage, you have the same number, you still have one more and they lose one. The problem is that it was almost a win condition for Cutthroat. So the first problem at all was that this card was not broken, not at all. It was literally balanced because it was good versus control, it was a shit versus aggro, and it was totally balanced. I understand it was a bit toxic, and I'm mad, and I'm not even playing Control Reception usually. I almost never play Control Reception, but I think it literally, like, it was the definition of Control Reception, this card essentially, and all the steal mechanics, and they are removing all of that just because people are mad at that. But that's kind of sad, to be honest, because it was really a nice card in my opinion, and now is trash. They literally killed it. Like, is not playable at 5 mana, a card that you just draw. A card is literally, if you think, is literally Ludia's Deception, that I don't know, I will put there if I remember. But the difference is that your opponent doesn't draw a card, but you pay 4 mana more for that. You understand how bad that is? Like, this card is literally trash right now. They should put this at 3 mana. I mean, maybe 3 mana is a bit overtuned, maybe 4. I mean, they should have just left that how it was. I understand people got mad, but I got mad a lot of times to Cutthroat. Still is a card that I think should have remained the same, not gonna lie. Now let's continue. Okay, Strike Moonlighter, another card that they killed before. Like, they love to kill all the cards instead of nerfing. I don't know why, but anyway. Okay, so from 4 mana, now is 3 another time. And the effect changed from take a card from, steal card from the deck, you steal from your opponent's void. I kinda like this change because you can play a bit around that, you know what they steal. It was a problem that before you didn't even know what your opponent was stealing. Now is a card that, I mean, is not the best card, but I think it's not even bad. Almost in line with the stats for a 3 mana because it's 3/3, so you lose only 1 health essentially. And still you can get a card advantage and so on from the opponent's void. You can steal like Marty from void or versus Nubian, it can be a good interaction. I really like this change. At least, okay, yeah. Then we have Balthazar. Balthazar is the same effect, so you still increase the cost of the spell, but instead of 1, of 2. I think this card will be good, not gonna lie, because already now could have been kind of okay, but now with increase 2 it can be really good for delay control clear away or board wipes and so on. I think it will be mostly used on aggro for delay control away. I mean, it can even be played like on control for like an anti-combo, but I think it's not really effective. You delay that only for 1 turn, so yeah, I don't know about that, but in aggro it can be for sure a thing. Carrion Eater, another change that I kinda like, not gonna lie. This card was trash. This card, even when we made tier list with my team at the start, we literally said this card was trash. It was so obvious that this card would have never be played. But now it's changed. So now they put this card at 1 health, so 3/1. And when this card attacks or roar, so even when you play this, you obliterate 2 cards from your opponent void and get 1 health for each one. So I think this card is no cap, like really good. I think I will play this card in every aggro, double copy, and even in some control, not gonna lie. First of all, is almost a 3/3, naked 3/3. That snowball a lot with the effect on gaining health, so not even on attack. I prefer getting more health with aggro, because you play around clears and so on. So it's a 3/3. Every attack it becomes like 3/5, 3/7 and so on. And you even get the void obliteration that is really good, like if you know your opponent is playing Martyrs and so on, or if he is playing Anubian, this card can literally carry some games. So I think it's really a good card. Maybe not to tier S, but I would put this in tier A, probably. Then the last 2 cards, Spotlight Lantern, design changed. Pull a friendly enemy. If you do, pull the top card of your... Okay. If you do... Okay, so it's essentially the same change of Shrike, but for Spotlight Lantern. I don't like this, to be honest. Because on Shrike they gave it even a buff, so they nerfed the effect because it's a nerf. In my opinion, stealing from the void is a nerf, literally, because you don't remove a value to your opponent, you reduce that card. So you nerf the effect on Shrike but buff because you gave 1 mana less. This card instead is the same, so still 3 mana, but you get a worse effect. This card, I think it will be literally unplayable. You can't play that, in my opinion. And yeah, the last change, it is bitter ending. A lot of people waited this change. I think bitter ending should stay how it is, but I mean, I thought the same even of Cutthroat, and still it got nerfed. So yeah, they nerfed this card. They put a comma essentially. they literally just put in balance patch because they added a comma. I don't even know where. Like they changed a comma, like a comma more, or maybe this one, I don't know. Yeah, this was... Oh no, it's this. And okay, yeah, they removed that comma. That's what they did about bitter ending. But yeah, be I don't know what to say. But guys, be ready because this card will be nerfed on the next balance patch. They say that really probably it will get nerfed. So yeah, don't buy Diamond bitter ending. Not financial advice. Okay, this was the balance patch. Write in the comments what you think about the change, if they're doing a nice job or not. And remember to subscribe to my channel and watch the top 5 of the best budget tech in Unchained.